Hey teens, in this video we're talking about James and what he says about greedy people. What exactly is greed? Well, a greedy person may have thoughts like, I want it all, give me more and more, or I can never get enough. It may not always be about money either. People can be greedy for clothes or food or anything they could get from somebody else. I really think there are two kinds of people in this world, givers and takers. So which one are you? Do you think you give more to others or take more from people? Are you more generous with your time, money, or possessions? Or are you more selfish with your money and your time and the things that you own? In high school, I had this friend who had a lot of money. He'd get it from his wealthy parents, and most of his friends, like me, never had much money, so we would borrow money from him to go out to eat or go see a movie. He was nice enough to lend us money, but when we didn't pay him back within a week or so, he'd begin to charge us like 10% interest a day. So he was willing to give, but always with the motivation of getting more back in his pocket. He was greedy. Look what James 5:5 says. You have lived on earth in luxury and self-indulgence. You have fattened yourselves for the day of slaughter. You may not live in luxury, but being self-indulgent means to take everything you do have and use it only for yourself. You may have a great job or you may just get a small allowance, but the question still is, what do you do with your money? Are you more selfish and greedy and just spend it on yourself? Or are you more generous and look for ways you can bless others? James alludes to the day you die like fattening up an animal just to be killed. I'm sure you've heard the saying, you can't take it with you. Proverbs 11:4 puts it this way, wealth is worthless in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. So what good is everything you get in this world when you die? Absolutely nothing. Proverbs says it's better to be generous with your money because righteousness lasts forever. James 5:1-4 says, Now listen, you rich people, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming on you. Your wealth has rotted, moths have eaten your clothes, your gold and silver are corroded. Their corrosion will testify against you and eat your flesh like fire. You have hoarded your wealth in the last days. Look, the wages you failed to pay the workers who mowed your fields are crying out against you. The cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty. James again talks about how what you get for yourself in this world will never last, but in verse 4 he talks about how wrong it is to cheat other people out of what they deserve. You may not be a business owner or a manager, but have you ever cheated someone else out of something you should have given them? For example, have you ever got your younger brother or sister to do your chores for you, but you still got all the allowance? Have you ever cheated off someone smarter than you and got a better grade? Have you ever borrowed clothes or music or anything from someone, but then you broke it or you lost it or you never gave it back? You may have just been careless or thoughtless, but do you see how this can be greedy as well? You don't even have to have anything at all to be a greedy person. I know plenty of teenagers who don't have a job or get allowance, so they're always asking people to buy them food or their way into a movie or just to lend them money for something. I think it's okay to ask a friend ever so often to be generous, but the problem is that most of these teenagers are constantly asking people to buy them something with no intention of paying it back. Now that's what I call being greedy. Proverbs 23:4 sums it up. Do not wear yourself out to get rich, have the wisdom to show restraint. So how do you stop being so greedy? Well, first you need to give more. Proverbs 22:9 says, A generous man will himself be blessed, for he shares his food with the poor. Try to remember the last time you gave something to someone and they were really thankful. Do you remember how good that made you feel? It's true what Jesus said, it's better to give than to receive. Next, we need to pay off our debts. Romans 13:7 says, Give to everyone what you owe them. Obviously, this means to pay back any money you borrowed and give back anything you borrowed from a friend. You may need to replace something you broke or lost that you borrowed from someone else as well. Finally, be content with what you have. 1 Timothy 6:6 says, Yet true godliness with contentment is itself great wealth. The more we realize that all we need is God in this life and the life to come, the less we will be tempted to be greedy or to take advantage of others to get what we want. So pause this video, talk about the following questions.